Hello students, so today we are going to be lesson 10.2 and 10.4. We're combining them because they share similarities. So the objective for 10.2 is to be able to classify triangles by their sides and angles. Go ahead and write down your objective. Now remember there are four types of angles. We have a right angle, meaning 90 degrees. Then we have an obtuse angle, meaning more than 90 degrees. We have a straight angle, which is 180 degrees, and we have an acute angle, which is smaller and is less than 90 degrees. So what is a triangle? A triangle is a polygon with three sides and three angles. Now, all three of those angles add up to equal 180 degrees. How do you read a triangle? You read a triangle by saying triangle in any combination of the three angles. So I'm going to give you an example. All of these are different ways that you could label this triangle. The important thing to know is that you need to label it in the correct order. So I like to think of it going in a circle. So ACB or CBA or BAC. As long as it goes around in the circle, then it can be named in that order. So how do you write it? Just like when we learned how to write a ray and a line, there's a symbol along with the letters. So the symbol for a triangle is a little triangle. So you put a little triangle in front of the letters to name your angle. Now, what are the different types of triangles? This is the main objective. We have three different types of triangles. One is an acute triangle. An acute triangle means all the angles on the triangle are acute, meaning smaller than 90. So you'd have to look at each one of these and see, is each angle smaller than 90? If so, then it is an acute angle. Then we have a right triangle. A right triangle means that there's one angle that is a right angle. The other two are going to be acute to help form that triangle. So look at these ones. Each of them has a right angle shown by this little square here, this little box that tells us that that is directly a right angle. And then we have an obtuse triangle. An obtuse triangle has one angle that is obtuse. The other two are acute. So it's always important to pay attention to one of the angles to find out, is it obtuse, is it right, or is it acute? And that'll help you identify what type of triangle it is. So this one here, we can see that this point A, this angle A, is an obtuse angle. So that makes it an obtuse triangle. Go ahead and practice these. See if you can see which one is which, and fill in your notebook. All right, now we're ready for lesson 10.4. So 10.4 is being able to sort and classify quadrilaterals. So 10.2 was triangles, now it's quadrilaterals. Well, if you know what a quadrilateral is, then you know the word quad means four. So that means a shape with four sides. So a polygon with four sides and four angles. So this one and all of these are polygons because all it needs to have is four sides and four angles to be a polygon. This is a good time to make a note of this in your notebook. What is a trapezoid? A trapezoid has at least one pair of parallel sides, meaning parallel, the lines do not touch. So the lines AB are parallel to lines CD. That makes this shape a trapezoid. What is a parallelogram? A parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. So notice we have lines MN and PO are parallel, and lines MP and NO are parallel. Now another thing is they all have to be the same length. So line MN and PO have to be parallel and the same length, as well as line PM and NO have to be the same length. So they have to have matching lengths and be parallel to be a parallelogram. So a parallelogram is also a trapezoid because it has at least one pair of parallel sides. Interesting. So a parallelogram is also considered a trapezoid. What is a rectangle? We've seen a rectangle before. Now, a rectangle has two pairs of parallel sides, and 2 pairs of sides with equal length, and 4 right angles. We know about the 4 right angles, but this means that they all don't have to be the same length as long as the top and bottom are the same length and the sides are the same length. So we can see here that RS and TU are parallel and they're the same length, and RT and SU are the same length and they are parallel. And the important difference between this rectangle and the parallelogram is that there are right angles. So a rectangle is also a trapezoid because it has one pair of parallel sides, right? And a rectangle is also a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides and 2 sides with equal length. But it is not a rhombus because it has 4 right angles. So what is a rhombus? A rhombus has 2 pairs of parallel sides, like we've seen on the last 2 shapes, and 4 sides of equal length. So that means all sides have to be the same length. That's the difference between this and a rectangle and a parallelogram. So a rhombus is also, if you're seeing a pattern, good job. A rhombus is also a trapezoid because it has 1 pair of parallel sides. It's also a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides and 2 pairs of sides with equal length. But it's not a rectangle because it does not have 4 right angles. So what is a square? Well, a square has 2 pairs of parallel sides, 4 sides of equal length, okay, similar to our rhombus, but a square has 4 right angles. So that's the difference between a square and a rhombus. Notice we have XY and ZY are parallel and the same length. We have YZ and XY that are parallel and the same length, and all sides are the same length, and we have 4 right angles. So a square is also a trapezoid because it has at least 1 pair of parallel sides. Also a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides and 2 sides with equal length. It's also a rhombus because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides and all sides are equal. And it is a rectangle because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides and 2 pairs of sides with equal length and 4 right angles. So a square can be all of these as well. Here's a helpful diagram to help you think it through. So we have our big shape up at the top, a quadrilateral, which just means 4 sides and 4 angles. Down below it, we have a trapezoid, which means at least 1 pair of parallel sides. Then down below that, a parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides, and split that parallelogram into 2 parts. So shape could be either a rectangle or a rhombus, depending on if it has 4 right angles or not. And it could be a square, depending on if it has 4 right angles and sides of equal length. So shape could be categorized as multiple different types of either rectangle or parallelogram, but we have to see if it matches the requirements for each shape. Let's practice. A trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and or square. What do we think it is? It is a quadrilateral, it is a trapezoid, it's a parallelogram, a rectangle, rhombus, and square. Let's practice this. A trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and or square. What do you think it can be categorized? I want you to take a second to practice. All right, if you came back, let's check. This one is a quadrilateral and a trapezoid, but nothing else. Let's see about this one. What can it be categorized? Trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and or square. This one can be a quadrilateral and a trapezoid and a parallelogram and a rectangle, but not a rhombus and not a square. Let's practice again. We have this shape here, could be a quadrilateral, a trapezoid, a parallelogram, and a rhombus.